Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Iris Morales, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the MNN El Barrio Firehouse Community Media Center. Tonight, we present the works of Puerto Rican women writers in New York. Their writings reflect contemporary voices coming from a rich tradition that goes back to Puerto Rico. Here at the Firehouse, we honor this legacy and have named places throughout the facility for Puerto Rican women writers. The gallery space in the lobby is named for Luisa Capetillo. She was a feminist, a labor organizer, and the first woman in Puerto Rico to write and publish her feminist ideas in the early 19th century. On the second floor, an express television studio is named after Julia de Burgos, renowned poet, educator, and activist for women's rights and Puerto Rican independence. She died tragically in this neighborhood in 1953. We want everyone who visits the Firehouse to learn about Luisa Capetillo and Julia de Burgos, their work and their contributions. Similarly, it is an honor for me to introduce tonight's program, Breaking Ground, Abriendo Caminos. Dr. Mirna Nieves has edited an anthology featuring the poetry, poetic prose, and fiction of 46 Puerto Rican women writers. Tonight, we have the opportunity to hear from 5 of them: Magdalena Gomez, Mirna Nieves, Maria Mar, Rina Valentin, and Dalma Llanos Figueroa. I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Mirna Nieves, my collaborator and the producer of tonight's event, to provide you with a background about the presentation and the writers. Dr. Nieves is an accomplished writer and editor who has published several books. She is a recipient of the Pen Club Award of Puerto Rico and is a professor at Boricua College. Please welcome Dr. Mirna Nieves.
Good evening, buenas noches. It is a very happy occasion for me to be celebrating with all of you the publication of Breaking Ground, Abriendo Caminos, Anthology of Puerto Rican Women Writers in New York from 1980 to 2012. I would first like to thank Iris Morales, Director of the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, for offering the resources of this organization and making this event possible. I would also like to thank writer Jose Angel Figueroa, friend and colleague, for suggesting this reading and for introducing me to Iris. Thanks to Maria Mar, who kindly assisted me in making ready tonight's program. I also wish to thank my publisher, Mario Picayo from Editorial Campana, and special thanks also go to Boricua College for co-producing this book. I welcome everyone in the audience. Thank you for attending this event. It is a pleasure to present 5 writers from the anthology. Breaking Ground, Abriendo Caminos, took many years to compile. It was a long project. This project evolved from my work as director of the Boricua College Winter Poetry Series, a yearly cycle of readings that were held for 20 years. These readings gave me the opportunity to meet many writers and artists from the Puerto Rican community as well as from other communities. I noticed that the quality and force of the literary work produced by Puerto Rican women writers were both powerful and meaningful. However, The majority of these writers were rarely included in anthologies, magazines, or literary reviews. I decided in that time to take action to change that situation by sharing their work in a publication that would honor this generation of writers. I also wanted to expand the literary scope of the city. The main purpose of this anthology is to present the wide spectrum of poetry, poetic prose, and fiction produced by Puerto Rican women writers in New York. Another purpose is to document the activism of these writers in the last 3 decades. The anthology includes 46 writers, of which 44 are alive. It includes writers of various ages. Some write in English, others in Spanish, and a few of them write in both languages. Our primary concern is to make known the existing literary work. I would now like to call attention to the cover art of the book, when you buy the book, produced by visual artist Ibelis Jimenez. The image that you see in the cover is very symbolic because it's entitled Ia, also known as Itiba Kahubaba, the primordial mother or feminine archetype in the Arawak myths of the Caribbean. The painting captures the complexity, sometimes chaos, that women writers face in the city and within themselves, as well as the vortex that hopefully suggests a place of light and joy. This book is dedicated to the women in my family, particularly my mother Anna, who lent me her strength and conviction. It is also dedicated to the future generations, my daughter Sadia, my granddaughter Sofia, because they will carry the inspiration of this anthology. Finally, there are my precious writers. I deeply appreciate your generosity and your talent. Congratulations on the publication of your work. And now it's time to delight our audience with great writing. Therefore, we will have our first poet.
Soy Magdalena Gomez, and the title of my poem is Plums and Scissors. Sleepwalk into closet, squat, piss into mommy's size 4.5 shoes, bound feet of malnourished sex traffic on the Dominican, Haitian, US knuckles of Trujillo's fist. Journey from open sewage childhood of pro-industrial Borican shantytown, El Fanguito. Feet shrunk on their own, afraid to touch contaminated ground. Feet first, I kicked my way out of horror, causing more horror. Mommy's tiny womb shrunk by force of will, keeping out monsters and foreign objects. I was too big for Mommy's little life of semen-drenched corners and torn hair. Rage came with motherhood, wild jet, leaking diesel, fiery, landing on my body, my face, broken veins. From years of slapping, covered by makeup, twisted mouth, from years of sneaking out terrible prayers. Please, Jesus,